9 months ago, I started developing a game called Monster Tower. Since then, I've taken this initial concept of just a monster catcher and turned it into Monster Tribe, which is a fully realized open-world RPG in a retro pixel art style. The series has sparked the interest of thousands of gamers and has taken me from a startup developer to a full-time entrepreneur and freelance artist from the skills and connections I've made along the way. If the project seems to be going along well, money's coming in, and I'm living my all-time dream, why am I telling you guys it was a mistake? Well, let's answer that today. The main problem that I see stems from an issue I like to call DGS, also known as Dream Game Syndrome. The idea is that in order to pop off on YouTube, you must create a perfectly envisioned game that you could consider to be your dream project. Unfortunately, this is not something that most of us should be doing. I really don't want anyone to take offense to this, as this is completely subjective and this is just my opinion. But when we think of creating a dream game, we think about the game that we want out there. What game we want to exist. As indie developers, our mission is not to create games because we want to play them. Our main mission is to create games because we enjoy the process of seeing something come to life and we want to be paid for our hard work in the process. 90% of the time, when you are making a long-term project of 1 to 2 years plus, by the end of the project, you probably won't be dying to play your game. Just think about it for a second. You've just spent half of the past 2 years of your life creating this project. You put in thousands of hours into behind-the-scenes development, playtesting for hours on end, bug fixing, marketing, and all of the other stresses that come with developing games. Creating your dream game might sound fun on paper, but in execution, it can really just dull out the idea and turn it into a job. Not fun. If you want my honest opinion, developing your dream game should not be what you envision to be the perfect game, but what is it that you love to do as a developer and just focus on those aspects. To give you an example, I love creating complex movement mechanics that stack together and drawing up platformer tile sets. For me, my dream game to make would be something like Downwell or Celeste. However, growing up, I was obsessed with Pokémon and Zelda, so here we are. Developing my dream game, even though I don't specifically enjoy half of the development process. Luckily for me, I am not alone on the project, so I don't have to handle too much of the application of UI and all of the math that comes with a complex turn-based RPG. But if you are not in a position to get other people on your development team, then this is definitely something you should be thinking about. Don't get me wrong, I love Monster Tribe, and overall it's been a great experience. But under different circumstances, life wouldn't be so pretty. If I didn't have the initial video catch people's attention to have thousands of you guys cheering me on today, if I didn't have awesome teammates to help me out with the workload, and if I wasn't creating outside revenue streams to keep me afloat during development, well, I think you get the idea. Existential crisis number 2. For those of you that are following with the development of the game though, I would love to show you guys some quick previews on some new updates we put together over the past couple weeks preparing for the Kickstarter campaign and trailer. We got fancy new biomes like the Burning Forest and the Snowy Mountains, a new UI and color scheme change in the works, which I personally believe will make the HUD look a lot cleaner, a new font to be used in the battle scene and for resource collection UI, updated game particles, and of course the caves that you will be exploring to find out about more information on the ruins and the mysterious ancient technologies powering the island. Since the start of development, the game has been a little bit of a pain in my ass, but when we start opening up the game to becoming an open world experience with free exploration and tackling the game in any order you'd like, it kind of comes with some problems. Not only do we have to adapt the story to make sense being played through in your own way, but in addition, we have to deal with our leveling system. Most RPGs will have some kind of leveling system, and our game is no exception to this rule. Having to adapt a unique leveling system to any and all creatures in our game, along with how enemies will level up throughout the story to keep a fun challenge, was a bit of a hassle to figure out, but it got a lot easier when we used today's sponsor. Machinations is a super intuitive game balancer where you can simulate pretty much any event you will have in your game, including our very own Monster Tribe leveling system. We got some help from the Machinations team to replicate our full system in the program, which was actually pretty easy to understand and expand once completed. If you guys are using a ton of external planning tools like spreadsheets, text documents, and diagrams to keep track of all of your information, then maybe it's time to pick up this game balancer and make your life a little bit easier. There are tons of already existing templates you can refer to, or you can get creative and create your own system for whatever you have planned. This personally saved us a ton of time in showing us real-time results on how our leveling will work, not only for one battle, but simulating thousands of encounters in a couple minutes. If you guys are familiar with my tutorials here on YouTube, then, well, they've got you covered. From extensive documentation provided on their site to fun and easy to pick up YouTube tutorials, I am confident you guys are in good hands when it comes to figuring out all this stuff. This company has been a blast to work with, and if you would like to help this channel out, make sure to click the first link in the description to try out Machinations for yourself. I promise you guys, if you take a little time to see how this program operates, you will be saving yourself in the long run. Invest in your skills and try Machinations for free today. So now that we've discussed why making an open world RPG might not be something you want to take on, we can get into how I overcame these issues, why I'm continuing the development of the game to the end, and what I plan to do in the future after development is complete and I'm looking to start something new. As I mentioned earlier, you guys are a huge reason as to why I'm continuing the project, and also the biggest factor in the actual success of the game. Growing an audience has been more than just a marketing scheme for me. I've met a lot of awesome people, share advice, and get me excited when I'm feeling in a bit of a rut. With that being said, I would just like to address that I have been doing YouTube for a little longer than I'd like to admit, and building my skills as a game developer pretty slowly over the past 4 years. If you're creating games in your first or second year and haven't made a dime, don't get discouraged from the success of others. Keep trying new things and be ready for when the opportunities start to roll in. Monster Tribe is something I'm developing not only because it did well on YouTube, but also because this is a passion project first and foremost. I have always dreamed of making a monster collector game like the ones I grew up on, so for me, it's not all about the output of what I managed to gain from this game. I'm making this game because I want to see the project come to life, and I genuinely enjoy creating games for the love and enjoyment of it. I was told a few months back by a highly successful influence that making this game is not the right call. The game will take too much time to make and won't hit the big shelves as the idea is not solidified enough to make a splash and compete with AAA titles. I completely agree with him. There are thousands of other games out there that deserve the spotlight a lot more than mine does. I also believe that the game won't be the next Stardew Valley or Shovel Knight. But the goal here is not to make the most successful game in the shortest amount of time possible. I'm successfully living out my life as a full-time business owner and freelancer, and I am loving the journey for what it is. Just remember this, there will always be optimization potential in anything you do, so as long as you are at a point of feeling secure, there is no need to continue to beat yourself down. Constantly learn from your failures and grow from your mistakes, but value those failures just as much as your successes. There's always an important lesson to be taken out of any endeavor, so figure out what went wrong and do better next time. As far as my journey goes, this game is just the beginning. I want to develop games for as long as I can walk on 2 feet, but I will try and approach future projects in a different way. I personally love games that you can sit down and play over a weekend. Those games that are incredibly addictive and impossible to put down, but are crafted in a few months or created for an amazing game jam experience. I want to test the bounds of what we are capable of creating and see what catches attention. After developing video games for years, I have a clear idea of what I like to do in development and what I want to stay away from, so expect to see more small experiences that are pushed to their absolute limits. To me, that is truly what an indie game should strive to do. I hope you guys enjoyed today's very strange form of devlog, and before you go, make sure to check out the Monster Tribe Kickstarter pre-launch page. We managed to secure the Projects We Love badge for the game, which means that we can potentially get on the front page of Kickstarter during our campaign. It's been a wild experience so far with more opportunities to follow, but I need all of your help to get this project to the biggest, most successful campaign possible. Going to our page and hitting that follow button will help us immensely when the Kickstarter actually releases. We need all of the backers we can get, so be sure to share the game with your friends. I hope you guys are just as excited as we are to see this project come to life, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for getting me to where I am today, being able to take the leap to becoming a full-time developer and content creator. And to be honest, this wouldn't really be possible without the support of you guys and my sponsors. So please make sure to go into the link in the description and try out Machinations for yourself. It's a really handy tool, and I wouldn't promote something that I don't believe in. Final note, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much, and yeah, I'll be streaming a lot during the Kickstarter campaign, so join the Discord server for more information on that. Also, I did mention that I would be doing a game jam once we hit 10k, and you know, we did that, so I'll be posting more updates on that over on my Twitter and my Discord. And last but not least, just guys, make sure to remember about the Kickstarter campaign that goes live April 15th. I'll see you guys soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. They've got you covered. From extensive documentation, from extensive documentation, from extensive